When humanity first appeared on the galactic stage, no alarms were raised and no fleets were mobilized because by every measurable standard, humans were unremarkable. They were not the strongest species, not the longest lived, not the most technologically refined, and certainly not the most disciplined. And in a galaxy that valued efficiency above all else, inefficiency was synonymous with weakness. The Dominion had encountered thousands of civilizations before, and the pattern was always the same: initial curiosity, followed by resistance, followed by collapse. And when human signals reached Dominion space, analysts predicted assimilation within a single generation. What they did not predict was defiance. Humanity did not submit, did not negotiate from fear, and did not fracture when the first Dominion fleets entered their system. Instead, they responded with something the Dominion had not catalogued before: improvisation. Human ships were crude compared to Dominion standards, their weapons unpredictable, their formations inconsistent, yet they fought with a ferocity that made no tactical sense, launching attacks that gained no immediate advantage and retreating only after sustaining losses that would have broken other species entirely. To the Dominion, this behavior appeared irrational. But humans were not fighting to win battles. They were fighting to understand the war. Every engagement became a lesson, every defeat a data point, and every loss a motivation rather than a deterrent. And while Dominion commanders refined existing doctrines, humanity discarded them entirely, rebuilding fleets faster than they could be destroyed, redesigning weapons mid-conflict, and rewriting strategies in real time. The first human worlds fell quickly, cities burned, populations displaced, and billions died under orbital fire. Yet instead of surrender, human resistance intensified, spreading not through centralized command but through shared resolve, as if the destruction itself had unified them. Dominion psychological warfare units attempted to exploit grief, broadcasting images of ruined worlds and fallen soldiers, confident that despair would follow. But the opposite occurred. The images became symbols, rallying points, reminders not of defeat, but of what must never happen again. For the first time in Dominion history, fear began to appear not among the conquered, but among the conquerors. Human forces began targeting logistics instead of fleets, disrupting supply lines with surgical precision, sacrificing entire task groups to delay reinforcements by minutes rather than hours. A concept Dominion strategists struggled to comprehend because no rational species would trade lives for time. Humans did it repeatedly. They did it because time allowed adaptation, and adaptation was humanity's greatest weapon. As the war stretched into years, Dominion superiority eroded not through overwhelming losses, but through constant pressure. Human attacks never ceased, never followed patterns long enough to counter, and never allowed the Dominion to dictate the pace of engagement. Every Dominion victory felt temporary, every human loss felt intentional, and slowly, commanders began reporting something unprecedented. Dominion fleets were hesitating. They hesitated because humans did not retreat when outmatched, did not surrender when surrounded, and did not cease fighting when survival odds dropped below acceptable thresholds. Instead, they pushed harder, as if desperation itself fueled their effectiveness. Dominion doctrine taught that fear preserved life, but humanity proved that fear, when embraced rather than avoided, could become a weapon. The turning point did not come from a decisive battle, but from a realization. Dominion analysts finally understood that humanity's objective was not victory in the traditional sense. It was endurance. Humans were not trying to defeat the Dominion outright. They were trying to last longer than it could tolerate the cost of war. And endurance was something the Dominion had never had to master. As casualties mounted and resources drained, political fractures emerged within Dominion leadership. Worlds once united by conquest questioned the value of continuing a war against a species that refused to be erased. Human fleets began reclaiming territory not through overwhelming force, but through relentless presence, occupying space, harassing supply routes, and forcing the Dominion to expend disproportionate effort on containment rather than expansion. The war, that was meant to demonstrate Dominion supremacy, had become a demonstration of its limitations. When ceasefire negotiations were finally proposed, it was not humanity that requested them, the Dominion did. Human representatives arrived not as conquerors, not as victors, but as survivors, carrying records of every lost world, every fallen fleet, and every adaptation born from necessity. They did not threaten retaliation or demand tribute. They offered a single condition: recognition that humanity would never kneel, never vanish quietly, and never stop fighting for its existence. The Dominion agreed, not out of respect, but out of understanding. They had learned the lesson humanity embodied too well, that a species willing to suffer, adapt, and endure without surrender was not a weakness to be exploited, but a force that would eventually reshape the balance of the galaxy. From that day forward, Dominion training academies added a new principle to their doctrines: avoid prolonged conflict with humans, not because they are the strongest, but because they are relentless. And across the stars, a quiet truth spread among civilizations watching from afar. Humanity did not conquer the galaxy. It survived it, and in doing so, proved that survival, given enough time, becomes unstoppable.